Joshua 23. A long time had passed. The Lord had given Israel peace and rest from all their enemies around them. By that time, Joshua was very old. So he sent for all the elders, leaders, judges, and officials of Israel. He said to them, I'm very old. You yourselves have seen everything the Lord your God has done. You have seen what he's done to all these nations because of you. The Lord your God fought for you. Remember how I've given you all the lands of the nations that remain here. I've given each of your tribes a share of it. It's the land of the nations I conquered. It's between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea in the west. The Lord your God himself would drive those nations out of your way. He will push them out to make room for you. You will take over their land just as the Lord your God promised you. Be very strong. Be careful to obey everything written in the book of the law of Moses. Don't turn away from it to the right or the left. Don't have anything to do with the nations that remain among you. Don't use the names of their gods for any reason at all. Don't give your word and make promises in their names. You must not serve them. You must not bow down to them. You must remain true to the Lord your God, just as you have done until now. The Lord has driven out great and powerful nations to make room for you. To this day, no one has been able to fight against you and win. One of you can chase 1,000 away. That's because the Lord your God fights for you, just as he promised he would. So be very careful to love the Lord your God. But suppose you turn away from him. You mix with the people who are left alive in the nations that remain among you. Later, you and they get married to each other, and you do other kinds of things with them. Then you can be sure of what the Lord your God will do. He won't drive out those nations to make room for you anymore. Instead, they will become traps and snares for you. They will be like whips on your back. They will be like thorns in your eyes. All that will continue until you are destroyed. It will continue until you are removed from this good land. It's the land the Lord your God has given you. Now I'm about to die, just as everyone else on earth does. The Lord your God has kept all the good promises he gave you. Every one of them has come true. Not one has failed to come true. And you know that with all your heart and soul, every good thing has come to pass that the Lord your God has promised you. So you know that he can also bring against you all the evil things that he has warned you about. He'll do it until he has destroyed you. He'll do it until he has removed you from this good land. It's the land he has given you. Suppose you break the covenant of the Lord your God made with you. He commanded you to obey it, but suppose you go and serve other gods, and you bow down to them, then the Lord will be very angry with you. You will quickly be destroyed. You'll be removed from the good land that he has given you. Joshua chapter 24. Joshua gathered all Israel's tribe together at Shechem. He sent for the elders, leaders, judges, and officials of Israel. They came and stood there in the sight of God. Joshua spoke to all the people. He said, "The Lord is the God of Israel." He says, "Long ago your people lived east of the Euphrates River. They worshiped other gods there. Your people included Terah. He was the father of Abraham and Nahor. I took your father Abraham from the land east of the Euphrates. I led him all through Canaan. I gave him many children and grandchildren. I gave him Isaac. To Isaac I gave Jacob and Esau. I gave the hill country of Seir to Esau, but Jacob and his family went down to Egypt. Then I sent Moses and Aaron. I made the people of Egypt suffer because of the plague I sent on them. But I brought you out of Egypt. When I brought your people out, they came to the Red Sea. The people of Egypt chased them with chariots and with men on horses. They chased them all the way to the sea, but your people cried out to me for help. So I put darkness between you and the people of Egypt. I swept them into the sea and completely covered them. Your own eyes saw what I did to them. After that, you lived in the desert for a long time. I brought you to the land of the Amorites. They lived east of the Jordan River. They fought against you, but I handed them over to you. I destroyed them to make room for you. Then you took over their land. Balak, the son of Zippor, prepared to fight against Israel. Balak was the king of Moab. He sent for Balaam, the son of Beor. Balak wanted Balaam to put a curse on you, but I would not listen to Balaam's curse. So he blessed you again and again, and I saved you from his power. Then you went across the Jordan River. You came to Jericho. Its people fought against you. So did the Amorites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, Girgashites, Hivites, and Jebusites. But I handed them over to you. I sent hornets ahead of you. They drove your enemies out to make room for you. That included the 2 Amorite kings. You did not do that with your own sword and bows. So I gave you a land you had never farmed. I gave you cities you had not built. You are now living in them, and you are eating the fruits of vineyards and olive trees you did not plant. So have respect for the Lord. Serve him. Be completely faithful to him. Throw away the gods your people worshipped east of the Euphrates River and in Egypt. Serve the Lord. But suppose you don't want to serve him, then choose for yourselves right now whom you will serve. You can choose the gods your people served east of the Euphrates River, or you can serve the gods of the Amorites. After all, you are living in their land. But as for me and my family, will serve the Lord. Then the people answered Joshua, we would never desert the Lord. We would never serve other gods. The Lord our God himself brought us and our parents up out of Egypt. He brought us out of that land where we were slaves. With our own eyes, we saw those great signs he did. He kept us safe as we traveled through all the nations. He drove them out to make room for us. That included the Amorites. They also lived in the land. We too will serve the Lord. That's because he is our God. Joshua said to the people, you aren't able to serve the Lord. He is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He won't forgive you when you disobey him. He won't forgive you when you sin against him. Suppose you desert the Lord. Suppose you serve the gods that people in other lands serve. If you do, he will turn against you. He will bring trouble on you. He will destroy you, even though he has been good to you. But the people said to Joshua, no, we'll serve the Lord. Then Joshua said, you are witnesses against yourself. You have said that you have chosen to serve the Lord. Yes, we are witnesses, they replied. Now then, said Joshua, throw away the statues of the gods that are among you. People from other lands serve those gods. Give yourselves completely to the Lord. He is the God of Israel. Then the people said to Joshua, we'll serve the Lord our God. We'll obey him. On that day, Joshua made a covenant for the people. There at Shechem, he reminded them of its rules and laws. He recorded these things in the book of the law of God. Then he got a large stone. He set it up in Shechem under the oak tree. It was near the place that had been set apart for the Lord. "Look," he said to all the people, "this stone will be a witness against us. It has heard all the words the Lord has spoken to us. Suppose you are faithful to your God, then the stone will be a witness against you." Joshua sent the people away. He sent all of them to their own shares of land. Then Joshua, the servant of the Lord, died. He was the son of Nun. He was 110 years old when he died. His people buried him at Timnath-Serah on his own property. It's north of Mount Gash in the hill country of Ephraim. Israel served the Lord as long as Joshua lived. They also served them as long as the elders lived. Those were the elders who lived longer than Joshua did. They had seen for themselves everything the Lord has done for Israel. The Israelites had brought Joseph's bone up from Egypt. They buried his bones at Shechem in the pieces of land Jacob had brought. He had brought it from the sons of Hamor. He had paid 100 pieces of silver for it. Hamor was the father of Shechem. That piece of land became the share that belonged to Joseph's children after him. Aaron's son Eleazar died. He was buried at Gibeah in the hill country of Ephraim. Gibeah had been given to Eleazar's son Phinehas.